Welcome board members and school leaders. The topic of this mini-course is completing financial reporting. Would you like to review the law and learn ideas for completing financial reporting on time and accurately? Would you like resources shared by another charter school? This mini-course may help you. In this mini-course, you will review the law, learn ideas, get resources, test your knowledge, and receive a certificate of completion. When reviewing the law, ideas, and resources, think about what you can do to support your school in completing financial reporting. Let's start by reviewing the law. Charter schools must meet certain legal and regulatory requirements and submission deadlines. Minnesota Statutes, Section 123B.77, Subdivision 1, requires adoption of the Uniform Financial Accounting and Reporting Standards, referred to as UFARS, by the Minnesota Department of Education. Minnesota Statutes Section 123B.77, Subdivision 2, requires charter schools to submit preliminary, unaudited data to the Minnesota Department of Education each year by September 15th. Minnesota Statutes Section 123B.77, Subdivision 3, requires charter schools to submit final audited data to the Minnesota Department of Education by November 30th. The Minnesota Department of Education requires that charter schools complete a fiscal compliance table error-free by November 30th. Minnesota Statutes Section 123B.77, Subdivision 3, requires that charter schools submit an independent audit report for the preceding year to the Minnesota Department of Education by December 31st. Minnesota Statutes Section 125B.05, Subdivision 3, requires that the school use state-approved financial software for the reporting. The Minnesota Department of Education has also identified indicators of financial health. They include a zero or positive fund balance in the general, food service, and community service funds at the end of the fiscal year. Generally, a restricted or reserved account fund balance may not go into deficit without specific legislative authority. For accurate reporting, the Minnesota Department of Education requires that there must be no errors in final turnaround edit reports. The final audited data must agree with the independent audit data. To summarize, what requirements and deadlines must charter schools meet to comply with the law and meet indicators of financial health? Charter schools must adopt uniform financial and accounting reporting standards and use state-approved financial software for reporting. Charter schools must submit financial data and an independent audit report annually to the Minnesota Department of Education by deadlines in September, November, and December. Charter schools must end the year with a positive fund balance in specific funds and fund balance accounts. Charter schools must submit accurate data to the Minnesota Department of Education that agrees with the data from the independent audit. Next, let's look at some ideas that charter boards have shared to help complete financial reporting on time and accurately. Use the reporting calendar for charter schools from the Minnesota Department of Education's website to check for important submission due dates. To maintain a positive fund balance, develop and use a fund balance policy with specific fund balance targets and plans in the event the targets aren't met. Plan for a transfer of funds that is often necessary from the general fund to maintain a positive food service fund balance when developing the annual budget. The general fund subsidy required to bring the food service fund balance to zero can be authorized before year end, with the final book entry occurring once the actual deficit is known. To improve accuracy, Include a monthly reconciliation report in the financials and verify that the bank balance and activity matches the balance and activity in the school's accounting records. Following are questions that you may want to ask to help your school meet financial reporting requirements. Is the school on track to meet the statutory deadlines leading to the submission of audited financial data? When reviewing financials, how can the board verify that the school has adopted the Uniform Financial Accounting and Reporting Standards? What financial software does the school use, and is it state approved? Does the board have a fund balance policy with a target for a fund balance that can help prevent unexpected costs or loss of revenue from causing a negative fund balance? Has the school proactively planned for a transfer of funds from the general fund to the food service fund in the event it is necessary? To improve accuracy, does the board examine a bank reconciliation report at each board meeting to verify that the bank records and school records are reconciled? Now that you have reviewed the law, learned ideas from other charter boards, and considered questions, let's consider ways you can support school success. With a general understanding of uniform financial accounting and reporting standards, you can help verify that expenditures are properly coded. By tracking important deadlines for submissions to the Minnesota Department of Education, you can help verify that the school meets the deadlines. By monitoring fund balances in each account and by following a fund balance policy, you can help prevent a negative fund balance. By planning for a potential transfer of funds from the general fund to the food service fund, you can help maintain positive balances. By reviewing a bank reconciliation report at each board meeting to verify that the bank records and the school's accounting records match, you can help improve accuracy of reporting. In conclusion, here are some potential next steps. Use the reporting calendar for charter schools from the Minnesota Department of Education's website to verify that the financial reporting is completed on time. Include on-time and accurate submission of financials in goal setting with the school leader. Request a presentation on how your school's financials align with the Uniform Accounting Financial and Reporting Standards. Read your school's fund balance policy and procedures to familiarize yourself with the fund balance target and action if not meeting the target. Plan for a transfer of funds from the general fund to the food service fund if anticipated. Examine a bank reconciliation report at each board meeting to improve accuracy of reporting. Compare and contrast your school's charter board calendar and financial packets with those from other charter schools to gain and share ideas. Contribute your ideas and tools for completing financial reporting on time and accurately. Information in this video is not intended to address specific questions or issues a particular school may be facing. Charter schools should work with their authorizer, auditor, financial service provider, and advisors, lawyer, and staff to address any specific issues and to obtain additional resources. We hope this information is helpful in completing financial reporting on time and accurately.